And I listened to that. And she says, we're going to go into the underworld.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Orphic. My name is Alyssa. I'm an astrophysicist. I have my PhD, and my specialty is in supermassive black holes and how galaxies evolve in their star formation with their supermassive black hole activity. That's what my thesis is on. Now I am interested in understanding the energetics and the consciousness of the entire universe. I want to know just all of the details and all the physics, like the physics of consciousness and the physics of thought, and just anything that really kind of can be broken down into these like fundamental laws. Like, what are the fundamentals of how everything in the universe operates at a conscious level? These galaxies have souls, everything is interacting with each other, and I really just want to know how it all works. There's more than meets the eye of what academia is currently studying, and that's where I come in, and that's where spirituality comes in, because we're not studying the full picture, or people in academia are not. So it's like, let's bring consciousness into the equation. So that's what I'm into, and that's what keeps me up at night. And my Instagram is at interdimensional.astrophysics. So please give me a follow over there. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Mikayla with Mariposa Moonchild on Instagram. Please give me a follow there. And then who am I? What do I do? Interesting.
Who are you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been having maybe, I don't want to say resistance, but some things coming up about like languaging around labels.
Yeah, totally.
Because I'm just like, I'm not, like, I am this, but I'm also not, like, and I'm also everything, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's interesting how when we put these labels on ourselves to kind of box us in. Yeah. And if you listen to the last episode, we did have a big discussion about like, who am I? Yeah. So I think I'm really on that journey of still figuring that out.
Identity path.
Yeah. But I will say, I'm really passionate about leading and guiding the shift of consciousness across the planet, the shift into a higher state of awareness, and the shift in collective healing, the shift in doing the self-work and the self-healing to shift the collective. Mm-hmm. And then the impact that has, that ripple effect, because when you heal yourself, you heal others. And when you start diving into this work of inner healing and connecting to your inner wisdom, you will find that the priority is healing yourself first, because you're not able to actually be of any help to anyone else if you don't do that inner work. And through doing that, you're able to be a presence healer and just hold space by not really doing anything at all except for just being.
Yeah.
But if you go over onto my page, I do some empathic energy alchemy I said that wrong. Empathic energy medicine and shadow alchemy. And with that, even the languaging around shadows, I've been really feeling into, because I think some people might look at the shadow and think just like darkness, or maybe even, I mean, I don't want to put out in the field, but maybe even the misconception of like black magic or something.
Yeah.
Because it isn't all just love and light. Like, there are people out there who are powerful who can do black magic. That is not me, and that is not what the shadow means, but
career change.
But the shadow part of my work is, and it's really cool that this is coming to light more now. So if you haven't listened to our last episode, please go listen to it because it will shed some light, which is funny because when you shed the light, you can see the shadow.
Yeah.
On a little bit more of what I'm talking about with the shadow stuff. But a big part of healing is, I think, feeling into our shadow side and recognizing it and having an awareness around it. So with my energy, I really kind of walk on this line of the light and dark, which all exists in our universe in every way. So that is what I mean by shadow and shadow work. I'm sure you've heard the term shadow work. So shadow work, we're just diving into some of our triggers or our shadow aspects. And instead of avoiding them, we're really sitting with them and listening to them.
Yeah.
And through that is, I feel like, is really the process of the beginning process of healing. So,
you know, what just came to me like when you were talking was about how it's those shadow aspects of us need, first off, they're valid in their existence, and they actually need us. They need us more than we realize. And I think I was kind of thinking about that because I just posted a clip from our what's now 2 episodes ago, and we talked all about the shadow and forgiving this previous version of myself. And when I was typing up the caption for that, I was kind of drawn to discuss how those past parts of ourselves need us and they need our forgiveness. And so it's like we can't ignore the shadow aspect, right? But it's like that shadow version of us because of the society that we live in, it has been associated with shame. But if you think about it, things from a neutral perspective, you know, every expression is valid. So that expression of that shadow side from us, it's not bad. It's not bad. And there's room for empathy for that part of us. And like it's asking for something from us. And like for me in that episode, it was like there was an aspect of me that was asking for more forgiveness. And I thought that aspect of me, and subconsciously I felt like that aspect of me wasn't worthy. So that kind of just came to mind.
Yeah, definitely. I had a thought there and it kind of left me for a second, as usual.
Right.
Yeah, fuck, I don't know.
Well, do you want to?
I was going to say something good too, but I don't
well, maybe
know.
it'll come back to you after the breathing.
I think I was just saying that, yeah, I mean, that was a very interesting process that you went through of sitting with the shadow. And part of that, and also there's no such thing as good or bad, because you kind of said, oh, it's like not bad, because there's really no such thing as good or bad. There is light and darkness.
Yeah.
But they both exist, and they both exist in a balance. And so even in the world, when you see the light and the darkness, it really is only a reflection of you, because I am you and you are me, and I am the quote unquote good and bad that's even happening in the world.
Yep.
So, you know, learning to love your shadow is a process, but it's also a very transformative process. And that's why I'm calling it, or that's why it is shadow alchemy, because it is once we decide to go to those places, once we're willing to go to those places and open to it, there's a lot of really profound transformation and transcendence of those shadows that can happen.
Yep.
Because even we've had an episode about gene keys before, and you can go check that out. But even in the gene keys, there's the shadow, and then it goes to the gift and the Siddhi. So there is the potential for this transformation or transcendence of the shadow into the gift.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
In a way. All right, you want to do a few deep breaths before we get started? Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, everyone. Let's take a moment to just tune in and connect to our breath. I'm going to light some Palo Santo, what I have left of it. It's very small. I'm going to try not to burn my fingers. Nice. So if anyone would like to send me some Palo Santo, that'd be great because I need some more. Even though it's like not that expensive. It's just the effort of going to pick it up.
Of course.
Okay.
Good there. Technical difficulties. Where's the fire? Is that?
It's oh, there we go. I'm breathing out the fire.
You really got to check out the YouTube, guys.
All right. Close your eyes if you're able to. Feet flat on the floor if you're able to. Ooh, breathe in that Palo Santo into your lungs. That cleansing energy, that cleansing smoke. Let's take a big, deep breath in, filling your lungs all the way to the top. Pausing. And when you're ready, open your mouth and release. Another one just like that. Breathing in that Palo Santo smoke. Letting it diffuse into your bloodstream and throughout your body. Taking another exhale. Letting it go. One more big breath in. Pause at the top. And when you're ready, release, letting it go, letting go of anything negative, anything that might be weighing you down, anything that you're ready to let go of, and releasing it with the breath. Just take a moment to feel into your body. Your chest rise and fall. The blood pumping through your veins. Your pineal gland activating and opening. Preparing to receive information that is a priority for you. And just when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back into this space.
Okay. So that was good. I feel very relaxed. I feel very ready. I don't know what I'm ready for. I kind of know. Anyway, so what's up?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been gone for like 8 days now altogether. Mm-hmm. I was just going to do the first training, which was a 3-day weekend thing. And then it turned into an extra 5 days. And yeah, it has been, I guess, a little one-sided. I'll admit, sometimes I see like all your texts and I'm like, I can't answer that right now.
Yeah. It's fine because obviously I know that and I understand, you know, just the way that we communicate, it's like, yeah, usually, but yeah, obviously, like, I don't care. Like, I know that you're busy and I'm like, well, if I got to get some downloads out and I'm like, I gotta record these in our chat. So I do it regardless.
Sometimes, like our friendship or whatever is just like a lot of holding space sometimes too. Cause like, depending on what we're doing, that can go both way, but we just kind of tell each other everything. So, or like, it's just very much like a sounding board or like a space to just be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And actually, this week it's been quite the mix of equal parts me watching season 9 of Vanderpump Rules and equal parts ridiculous downloads about how the entire universe works. So, like, that's our lives, and
Interesting.
that's what we're doing here.
I still have to finish some of Vanderpump. It's interesting though because I was gone for 3 days to the linking awareness journey, which we'll talk about more. But for anybody who listened to our Eagle Eyes Ranch episodes or the Healing with the Horses, that's the ranch that I was at for the 3 days. And then in between, I think I had a little bit of time, and then when I went back for the 5 days, I drove back and forth because the first few days I stayed with my trailer for the first weekend. And then the second one, I drove back and forth a bit because it's a long time to be away from home. And then I did end up staying towards the end again, which I'm happy that I did. But there was one night where Bryce went into town to go out with some friends, but I wasn't back till late. I don't even know why this is important, but I got home and I was watching Vanderpump, but it was really interesting because when you go to the ranch, I can't wait for you to go one day because you need to feel the energy there. Like you're in this like vortex, especially if you're like staying there and you can feel it. Like it's very palpable, the vortex energy. So you just like get out and you're just like, it's like leaving a festival. And you're just like
whoa.
Yeah, you're just like, what is life? What is this?
Right.
So then I kind of like dove back into just the reality TV, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these fucking people? Like, but I still was watching it. I needed some integration time anyways, which maybe I could have been doing yoga or processing, but it was late, and I think it's okay to just sometimes just sit down and relax for a second and watch some crazy people literally on TV.
No problem in that. So
but sorry. It is really funny though, because the other time when I came back, Bryce and I were because MasterChef restarted too, and Bryce and I are like that'd probably be our number one show to watch together. Like we love MasterChef. You do talk about
that a lot.
Yeah. And so it's finally back on, and he went to like put it on. It's like, oh, let's watch it, and I was like, I don't feel like watching it. I want to watch the elephants. So we watched the elephants on Disney Plus. I don't even remember what it is. It's like the Adventures or Mysteries of the Elephants or something.
Ooh.
And then another time I was like, oh, I don't really feel like watching anything else either. Let's watch the whales. So then we were watching the whales, and the first episode was about the orcas. And it was interesting how I felt so much more pulled to watching that at that time. And
yeah, definitely with your a lot of animal communication training and stuff like that.
But the Vanderpump stuff is whack because I'm still like halfway through it, like the season 10. But right now everything is coming out about the reunion because that's what's being recapped.
I'm up to date.
Yeah, and that's what's on. So it is like all over social media. It's just like everywhere.
Yep. But you're back for now, so maybe our text message chat will be slightly less one-sided. I mean, because I also like hearing all of your voice memos and all your things. So,
I know, and I've been saving it. I haven't been telling you anything because I've just been so busy. But so we can chat about it on the podcast because I don't need to tell it to you twice.
Yeah. Well, the moral of the story is that when we got on Zoom today, I was like, I miss you. So,
I miss you too. I feel the same. Although I will say we're going camping again this weekend, and then I'm going back to Alberta for like a week. So I have a very busy June.
You're busy right now, but that's all right. We ebb and we flow.
Yeah, definitely. Just like life.
Yes. But so, okay, tell us about finish a story about the Sinunga, or give a bit of a recap maybe of where we left off, and maybe even since we're in a fresh episode, re-describe like what the Sinunga is.
Yeah.
Or I think we didn't even get into like how you had met that person that connected you. So yeah, talk about it.
Yeah. Well, where would you refresh my memory of where we did leave off?
Yeah, I think you ended up kind of talking more about your experience with the Sinunga at Lucia's ranch like a few months ago, and the angel and stuff. and seeing it an angel or seeing yourself as an angel, but then you had another you were able to kind of like divinely connect with someone that connected you to someone else that had the Sananga, and so you like drove to her house or something to have a whole experience there, right? And I think that's kind of where you left off, just getting to this person's house for this experience.
Did we talk about the Hape? I thought we did.
Maybe a little bit about what it was. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
I'm trying to think if I.
Well, the Hape. What was the experience like with the Hape? I think you did talk about what, because I remember like asking you what it felt like or something like that.
Yeah, we did talk about it. I think how it was like peppery,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
she like used this like hollowed out bone, that was very pretty, and to like blow it up my nose. And then
Yeah, right. We did talk about that.
Yeah, I think we did, and then that connected to the whole angel thing too, because I kind of went back to that place, and I've seen this vision a lot of that like angel walking through the forest, and it was just this like big blue angel, and I just kind of seen myself with these angel wings that were just like opening and expanding. It's been a while since I was there, and it's been a lot that's been happening since then too, so I'm just trying to recall and remember if we actually did touch on it in the last episode.
Yeah. I think we talked about the Hape, so go to the Sananga. Talk about the Sananga experience the second time.
Okay, well, just one note on the Hape. So I did that, and it was very much just like angel coming back. Oh, and I think the message that came through again was like you let go of the fear. You don't need to be afraid anymore. Like you can like spread your wings as like your true self, and like accept your true self in this like angel like light body, and accept that into you. And you don't need to be afraid anymore. You're safe. Like you don't need to be afraid of your power anymore. You're safe. And it was cool because she journeyed with me. She did the medicine with me. And then after, when we connected, I kind of explained my experience, and she's like, yeah, I watched it. Like I seen you transforming into this angel body.
Whoa.
And it was really
she
cool.
Like validated it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was, if you haven't listened, go listen to that episode, because that was a really, really big episode for me.
Yeah.
Just being vulnerable about that story and like speaking my truth, I guess. And you know what? It is really important, because it feels like everything in my life is kind of building on top of that moment, like on top of that. So yeah. But yeah, we did the Hape before we did the Sananga. And then after that, she administered the Sananga to me, and I laid down flat for this. For the Hape, I was just sitting up cross-legged. And I'm trying to think. So the Sananga is derived from a plant, just to kind of go over that again, from a plant in the Amazon, and the plant is called the Sananga plant, because I do remember asking about that. And it just brings through, from my experience anyways, it's also important to remember in all of our podcasts that Alyssa and I are only speaking to our experience and our personal journeys, and also our perceptions. So this is my perception of the journey that I went on with the Hape and Sananga. And even just my perception of the medicine itself. But it is, it's from a plant. It is dropped into the corners of your eyes traditionally, and it's very painful when that happens. And this medicine woman shaman that I went to her house, and I did this with her. Her Sanunga was a lot stronger than the first stuff that I had. And she did tell me that. She's like, my stuff is pretty strong. And I'm like, okay, but this is only my second time doing it, so I don't really know what to expect. And so the second she dropped it into my eyes, I was like, like you kind of like go into shock. It's like if you like jump into really cold water that like it like takes your breath away for a second. You're like,
oh wow.
And then she just like put her hand on my heart. She's like, breathe into your heart, breathe into your heart. And she had mentioned that
because
before.
It stung? Because it stung your eyes?
Yes, because it was just the pain was, it was really intense.
Yeah.
So then I was like, so I had that nice, beautiful reminder to breathe into my heart. So I was breathing into my heart. And then all I could think of when the pain, like I just deep breath, just, and all I could think of, all that I could muster out, the only thought was thank you. Thank you. So I just kept repeating as the stinging part of it was going on. I just kept repeating, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was just giving this like gratitude to the medicine. It's like, that's all that could come out of me in that moment. And then through that, I had this, I guess, download or the thought of gratitude for the pain. Because I was thanking. Yeah, I know.
Wow. Yeah. That's big.
It is.
Yeah, it was like because when you first said thank you, I was like, oh, like probably maybe it was just like a deep, profound moment of like, thank you for my existence, but also thank you for the pain.
Yeah, like that's it, because that was the most painful part. And in the most painful part at the beginning, all I could say was thank you. Like that's all that's all that was with me. That's all that I was present with, was just that thank you. And it just kept coming. And then I was like, wow, there's just this deep gratitude. And then the deep for the medicine, but with the medicine is this pain. And and just really how deep that is, because, you know, pain is a very powerful teacher. A really powerful teacher. And I feel like a lot of us, we, you know, walk through our lives and we've gone through different points of pain, whatever that is. I know you talked about your addiction in the last episode for an example, or whatever it might be. And I feel like I'm just being reflected back more and more how we do have the capability to really feel into those pieces of ourselves and also love that experience and have gratitude for it. Because that's a difficult concept. It's like I remember working with my mentor, or just being told that, you know, like, oh, love your experience and how, you know, the hard things make you who you are and stuff. And like, it's like, you know, there's a piece of me mentally that's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But I think to really feel that has like a different effect. And it's just like kind of this clicking and this remembrance of, I chose those moments of pain in my life, in my experience, so that I can love them. And that's what we were talking about with the shadow before too. So that I can love them and I can have that deep gratitude. Because my experience was specifically designed and chosen for me by me to give me gifts in this life. If that is even skills or the knowledge or the teachings or the learnings. So yeah, I just right off the bat, and that only lasted for like a second, but that is what came through, was just having gratitude for the pain. And I also will say to anyone who wants to try it, like, it's not as bad. Like, I don't know how else to describe it then, I guess, pain when it goes into your eyes, because it is a stinging. But if you do want to try it, it's really not that bad. Like, it does feel like you have something kind of stinging in your eye for a second, but it really is a very clearing, purifying, And it's not like a pain or a hurt that stays with you. It's just like a moment of kind of opening up and clearing.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna plug in my phone really quick.
Mm-hmm.
If it will let me. Oh, fuck. Should be okay, I think. Okay. Okay. So then after that, I breathed into my heart space and just kept, all you can really do is just like deep breathe in that moment. And what the Sananga does, it is a very like purifying, cleansing energy that just radiates through your entire body. The best way I can explain it is once you've breathed through it and sat with that, is just a very like clearing and sense of clarity. People really use it for that sense of clarity. I think a lot of people will go in with a question and then their intention to receive clarity from their question through connecting to the plant medicine. So for me, after, it felt very like you did do a cold plunge or like a really intense workout. And just that feeling after of how just like clear and open your body feels, and those like endorphins that are kind of running through that just like, you just like feel like just like refreshed, just like open and like refreshed. So then, and it's like definitely a few minute journey. So she also took the medicine and I could hear her like deep breathing. And then she says, we're going to do a drum journey. So she starts drumming for me and I listen to that. And she says, we're going to go into the underworld. Which is kind of
as one does.
As one does. So she started drumming, which was really cool. And I just felt into that. And she took me on this journey where we came to the tree of life. And she did give me the options. She said, we can go up at the tree of life or we can go down. She did already kind of mention the underworld journey because I think she knew that we were going down. And she said, just let yourself go down into the roots. And you don't know what you'll find down here. There might be some portals and might be some beings that you've never seen before. Like we're going to go down. So I'm like, okay. And we took the and again, this is from my perception. She called on Jaguar energy to come with us for protection. So the Jaguar came with us, which is a pretty powerful energy. And of course, my guide Kona, who is the white wolf guide who's there to protect me. She hopped on that train pretty quick to come with us.
Yeah.
And so we went down. We went down into the roots of this big tree of life, kind of twisting and turning. And we were in these tunnels and I had some fairies that decided to come with me. So the fairies were with me and we went down in there in these deep tunnels. And then we came across a troll and this big red crystal. It looked like a big red ruby. It was huge. And it was a portal and he asked for the secret password. Wow. So we said the secret password or paid him our dues or whichever it was. And I touched the red ruby and portal. And so on the other side of that portal, I was in a forest, very lush green, mossy forest, these big standing trees, that like soft moss all over the ground, very beautiful. I almost hear like ethereal voices, just very, I don't know, awesome. And there was also a portal here. There was a portal just in the middle of the forest. It was very like round and kind of like iridescent-y light. So this one looked a little bit different. And so I went into that portal. Everything happened very quickly. I went into that portal and was shot out at a waterfall. And there was this waterfall that was streaming down like blue light, and there was blue beings around me at this waterfall, and they were around me and they were just working on me. Like they were doing like an energy attunement and just moving things around and working on me and opening up my third eye and using the violet flame of Saint Germain and really just doing this energy healing on me in this place of this waterfall. And then when they were finished, I moved on, and through the waterfall, on the other side of the waterfall, there was a hole that went right down. And this was another portal. And so through this hole, It was like a slide and it took you down. And this one went really, really far. There was like definitely things on the way that you could like stop at and go to if you were like really intentional, but I just didn't really know where I was going. I kind of just like hopped in and we just went down. And so I went down, down, down. And this time when I popped out, I was down in like the underworld. So here we're in like big dark caves. And with like, it's like not nice really down here. There's kind of like, there's these beings that are just walking around that kind of look like trolls or just darker energy, and they're just moving around, and it's just very just like ugh.
Yeah.
And so I was told, so my first reaction, I'm like down here and I'm looking around and I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I here? So I listen. They say, these are lost souls walking around, lost souls. And you're here to open up a portal to let them cross over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was really interesting because I don't know if I've mentioned this on the pod yet. I might have, but I have been working with Hather, where I've been intentionally connecting with her because she came in to do a mentorship with me. I need to meet with her again. And her first teaching was to teach me how to open up the portals to let spirits cross over. And we've also talked about that on the one session I did have at the Eagle's Eyes Ranch with Lucia, and she talked.
Yeah, we get into that a lot on the part 2 of the Eagle's Eye Ranch episodes for anyone that wants to listen or hasn't listened. Mikayla, you definitely have like a theme with your life and your soul contract here about like the darkness and the underworld and crossing souls over. And wow.
Yeah.
And that's kind of related. Yeah. Wow. Also, I like looked in the corner, like I'm in the basement right now and we have this like little troll doll and it's like right there. And I noticed it last time. I don't know like why it's here, but it's like right in the corner of my eye, like across the room from me. And like, you talked about seeing trolls in the underworld and everything. And I just like, looked over and I see like one of those little troll dolls. And I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Anyway, that was weird.
That's so funny because you've probably never noticed that before, really. Like, I mean, noticed it, but not like when you're recording to like that extent.
No. So they told you that so you went down to the underworld, you saw all these like ominous, mysterious beings like wandering around, and you were told that you're there to cross them over or to like learn how to cross them over.
I'd already learned. I'd already learned from Hather how to do that, so she taught me. So that was just told that I was there to open up a portal and cross them over. But yeah, at one point I wanted to speak to also was when I was talking about the shadow earlier and just like that shadow alchemy and what that was, and how you were saying with that episode with Lucia, how I do kind of like walk this space. That is kind of what it is. It's like my spirit or soul knows how to go to these places or is familiar with it and is able to, I don't even know what the word is, but be there to help it in some way. And that is the shadow piece that resonates with me so strongly.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, I was like, okay. So I opened up this portal.
You got it.
I opened up this portal and just let all those like beings go through there. As well, and I just like waited until I was told like I could, like it was time to come back up. She also, there was like, she was going to change the beat of the drum, and then that would be the time that you come like back up. I think there was, and then also while I was down there, there's like soul fragment retrieval. You can find the shadow pieces of you and those soul fragment retrievals for yourself as well. But the main message for me was to open up that portal to let whoever needed to cross over, because some of those souls that get really lost and get way down there, there's not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for those portals to be open to get out.
So I feel like I need to ask, or I feel like I'm picking up on someone listening asking the question of how would you relate this underworld that you went to our concept of hell? Do you think, I mean, I don't necessarily believe in hell, but you know, what's your interpretation of that?
Yeah, because I did want to almost relate it to that too, because there was kind of fire and stuff around. I also personally don't believe in hell, because I think everything is just energy. However, it feels like different levels and layers of like dimensions, like how we can go higher, maybe we can go lower, and things exist. And so as a soul or something may get lower and lower and lower, it's more work to raise the vibration to like kind of come up, like each one, especially if they're not multi-dimensional, which maybe they've kind of lost or forgotten along the way, which is why there's like these lost souls, because there are like, you know, we are multi-dimensional beings, and same with like angels or even other beings that are like 5D beings. They are multi-dimensional too, where I think they're able to move with more ease. Like they're able to move through these dimensions with ease and go to where they want to go. But it felt like more of like these souls had somehow they had fallen into this lower frequency until this is the energy and the place they were in. And it was like they were trapped there because they didn't have that higher frequency of being able to travel the dimensions and with ease.
Yeah, like the other way that I was thinking of it too, that came to mind is more like a disconnection from source, or like maybe like, right? So it's more like the underworld in this case is like a different level of disconnection from source that maybe even passes some certain threshold, because the way I'm seeing it too is in terms of like the symmetry above and below, like the wavelength across the line, like how everything, the inversion, right? Like the tree of life goes up and it goes equally down. And I do feel like maybe there is some threshold point where it's like beyond which, like, or if you or maybe like a disconnection point beyond which it gets more difficult or maybe requires more assistance to, you know, transcend back to the connection. But I don't know if there's, I don't know. Then this kind of gets into some other things about like certain other beings that are completely cut off from source. I'm not sure, for some reason what's coming to me right now is I'm not sure if it's really possible to ever be completely cut off from source. Maybe it is, but for some reason that thought is coming to me now. But
yeah, I don't know if it's possible either. I mean, with all of this, like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So I don't know either if it's possible to be completely shut off from source, but it does feel like there's different varying degrees of that, of like how open you can be.
Right.
So maybe on the lowest level of connection to source. And I'm also, the way I was kind of seeing it too while you were talking is, so the lost souls, I would say, are disconnected or are the least connected.
Right.
Because they're lost. And how I'm even seeing it is, for example, maybe a soul that has left its body on earth and it is and it didn't go to the light, to source. So there's already that disconnection, and that's where we kind of get like ghosts or entities that are kind of running around on earth. And so I think from there, they're kind of in this space where, because of that disconnection, they're struggling with getting themselves to source. And so they are floating around on this earth plane, and moving freely, I think, around on the earth plane. But I think from there, the deepening of the disconnection can lower the vibration. So now they're going down even further and further. And if you are in, I think, this dark space, more of these darker entities and things exist. So even if you're kind of like a disconnected from source, but you're not like necessarily a malicious being, there might be some malevolent beings or entities that are also trying to trick or trap these souls and bring them down into these lower places. This is just what I just got now in this moment. Again, I don't know. Use your discernment. You use your discernment.
Yeah, super interesting. So, so was there anything else to the journey after you did that, after you like crossed the souls over?
But yeah, I crossed the souls over. And then I think she started doing the next drum beat, which was like more of like a heartbeat, to let me know to come up. And it was interesting because I remember being like like I was going to wait until I was told to close the portal, and I closed the portal and I listened to when I was supposed to close the portal. I closed it. And then right after that, she was drumming for me to come back up. So I went back up the slide, the like tunnel slide thing, up into the waterfall portal, back to the forest, with that like iridescent energy portal, back through that, back to the red ruby portal, and then in the tunnels of the roots of the trees, and then all the way back up to the tree.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
So how'd you feel after that then?
Very like,
the whole thing was a few minutes, you said?
Yeah, like
5
maybe
minutes?
10.
What would you say? Okay.
Maybe 10 or 15 altogether. Maybe 10, because I definitely did some deep breathing in the beginning just to like feel into the medicine and stuff. And then she took the medicine as well, and then we went on the journey together. So yeah, after I did feel just like the sense of, just like clarity in my body, or just like this really like clearness, cleanseness, and just like purification, which is what is the intent of the medicine, I suppose.
Yeah. What was your intention? Like, did you state an intention?
No, I actually don't remember. if I did or not. And I might not have. Sometimes I don't. I just kind of journey and trust that whatever's kind of meant to happen will come through. I could have, but I don't recall it this time. I do need to get better at journaling things for myself, but yeah.
Wow, well, that's pretty wild, and like cool confirmation about the whole thing from the ranch reading and from just everything about the crossing souls over and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And the angel stuff, which we talked about more in the most recent episode.
Yeah, it was really cool. And on that note too, I would really just like to thank the medicine woman shaman that I sat with for her beautiful energy and for holding space for me in those moments and for facilitating that journey, because it was really special to me. And yeah, I just want to send my gratitude and thanks for her for holding space and having me come to her home.
Yeah, I think that thing about you, like how the very first thing that came to mind was thank you, is so interesting. It kind of almost just goes to show, I feel like because it's meant to bring you to such clarity, it's almost, the way I interpret it is almost like gratitude is almost like it's the most important thing. Gratitude, or just, the way that it just like brought you right there to that thought is just like, oh, maybe that's one of the most important things for us to remember, the things that we would be brought to in these types of ceremonies versus our regular waking conscious and unconscious life.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that, because now as I've done this work with linking awareness and been at the ranch, from my perspective, I feel like we've learned a lot about how the animal kingdom does work from priority, and including the plants, like the spirits, they do order things, which is weird because it's like humans don't always do that, but I feel like they do work in the order of priority for what's like coming up to cleanse or clear or work with. So I do think gratitude is a priority. And yeah, what you said or what you felt through that is really interesting, because even with that, like when it comes to transformation and just creating your own reality, what can you do without gratitude?
Yeah, it's the basis. Or it's if you don't have it, you're not getting very far. If you don't have gratitude for the things in your life or whatever, or your experiences or whatever, it's kind of like a foundational ingredient.
It is. And that's also something you can't just say I have gratitude. Like, you have to actually feel it.
Yeah, you can't fuck with making up gratitude.
No.
Like, you can't fake it. You can't fake anything with energy, but especially gratitude. Yeah, you cannot fake having gratitude. It has to be real.
Well, actually, I would say love was the number one priority, but like, I think gratitude is right underneath that in that way, because like, you need that gratitude, or like you said, it's like fundamental in your life, like that reflection of, if you with the gratitude, with the giving of gratitude, you're only going to get the reflection of the gratitude back, and that just opens up, I feel like, so many gateways for like magic in your life, really.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that story, and I'll have to definitely try that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have to see if I can get any connects. Well, now I have some more like divine connections at this kava bar, and I'm opening up slowly but surely. I'm opening up my physical reality to new aligned soul connections. So we'll see. We'll call it in.
Well, I have a connection to, like, through her to get some too, and then she did teach me how to use it, so I could get some for myself as well. But I mean, and I think
let's do it in Banff.
Yeah. And even with the gratitude part, for people that are wanting to, it's just like a great message for people that are wanting to manifest or create their realities. Start with gratitude. Start counting the things that you do have, or the people that are in your life, or what is present in your life, and giving gratitude for that, and then watch your life shift.
I know. It's one of those things that is said a lot, but I think there's a different embodying and understanding of it that probably we all have room to apply in our lives, you know? All right, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening and being here. Please make sure to give us a rating, review, and subscribe on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening. And find us on YouTube. Follow us at the Orphic Podcast. My Instagram is at interdimensional.astrophysics. Mikayla is at Mariposa Moonchild. Thank you.